So I just played Space Marine 2 for 10 hours, and I finished all the single-player campaign, and I played some PvP and some co-op, and I guess that this is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but it's not really a good game.
Hello, my name is Grumpy.
Right, so first and foremost, before you start bashing on me in the comment section, just let me explain my opinion by reviewing each segment of the game. The gameplay, the graphics, the audio, the music, and the story. But before I start, I have to say this is not a sponsored video, and I really wish it was, because I've spent $100 on this game just to get it early and to make a review, hoping that the game will be solid enough and that I will play it with my friends for the next couple of months. But honestly, I don't feel the urge to play it ever again. And if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would probably just refund it straight away. But this one's on me. I was dumb. I was hoping that I'll have a game to play and to make content on for the foreseeable future. So if you find this video useful or helpful in any way, please consider subscribing or sharing the video, or even helping a brother out on Patreon or on YouTube, because even if I get, let's say, 10,000 views on YouTube for this video, I will still not be able to recoup the money that I lost on this game. But anyway, let's talk about the gameplay. And this is my first and major gripe with the game. The gameplay is way too repetitive, boring, and not innovative in any way. I knew that it was a hack and slash kind of a game, but I was very excited to play what I essentially saw as Helldivers with chainswords, but I was very, very wrong. What it is basically Doom 3 with smaller maps and a ton of cutscenes. And I'm not even joking. The amount of time sinks such as loading screens and fades to black is worse than Starfield. And all of them are destroying the flow of the game. So in an hour of playtime, if you're lucky, you're gonna have at least 20 minutes worth of downtime. And now you're probably wondering why I mentioned cutscenes. Well, it's not the cutscenes themselves, but if you have so much downtime, such as fades to black for every fucking transition, if you have loading screens that are just gonna be there every, 5 minutes, and then, yeah, you start hating cutscenes too. Because I don't wanna fucking watch a movie, I wanna play the fucking game already. On the other hand, when you're actually in control of the game itself is okay. Nothing more, nothing less, it's just okay. Purely because you only have something like 9 primary weapons to choose from, and then you have 4 secondary weapons and around 4 melee weapons. And they all basically feel and perform the same. As an example, there are only 3 classes of ranged weapons: bolt rifles and pistols, then you have energy rifles and a single energy pistol, and then you have heavy weapons. Bolt rifles are basically all the same, the only difference is that some of them shoot faster and some of them have scopes on them. But then again, who in the hell would play a game like this with a sniper rifle? The maps are way too small, and there's way too many enemies swarming you at constantly that your sniper is not going to be effective enough. And then you have the energy weapons that can deal a lot of damage if you hold your left click longer so you can fire a powered up shot. And then you have the heavy weapons that you can find on some of the levels that will mow down a ton of enemies fast, and they're a lot of fun. But unfortunately, they are very rare, and since you can't really rearm them, I can't really say that I had a lot of fun with them. And if you're anything like me, you will not care about the ranged weapons at all. You want to pull your sleeves up and look dead in the eye of your enemy while you murder them. But unfortunately, that also, well, Yeah, the melee weapons are the most engaging and fun part of this game for sure, and going into a bunch of enemies with a big-ass hammer just to mow them all down with a single strike feels amazing, but the issue is that the hand-to-hand combat feels way too repetitive and bland. You basically have two attacks, a light attack and a heavy attack. You can combo them, but it all seems way too repetitive after a while. It doesn't really matter which melee weapon you take. The only difference is the speed of your attacks, so basically the big-ass hammer will have the slowest attack speed, while the knife will have the fastest attack speed. The chainswords are somewhere in the middle, but the differences are marginal at best. On top of that, you can parry your opponent's light attacks and you can execute them once they are stunned. And those attacks will replenish your armor, and they're fun the first 20 times you do them, but later on you will have to do the same parries or executions 20 times per fight so you can live through them. And basically the whole gameplay revolves around that whole concept. Go into a herd of enemies, perform perform 2 light attacks and then a heavy attack, and then perform at least 1 parry and a couple of executions so you can continue to the next fight. And trust me when I say this, it gets boring really fucking fast. What is not boring though are the jetpacks, and once you get them you want to use them all the time because they give you a fun twist on the otherwise boring gameplay. But unfortunately, again, you only get to use them 2.5 times for the whole duration of the campaign. And I say 2.5 times because one of the times that you use them, they break after a minute because of dust. Yeah, dust.
Jump packs are struggling with all this dust.
You gotta be fucking joking. Just tell me you're not serious right now.
Jump pack fouled with dust. We must proceed on foot.
Jesus fucking Christ. To make the matters even worse, even though the maps are beautifully created, the game is so much on rails that it doesn't even matter how beautiful the environment is, because you're always gonna be locked inside super small arena-like areas while you will need to kill everyone so you can progress to the next area. All of those areas are divided by either a set of locked doors or a boulder that you have to hold E on to move it, or there's gonna be a cutscene, or there's gonna be a fucking fade to black. And to make the matters even worse, sometimes you just have to hold W to get to another level, or go to another cutscene, or a fucking loading screen. And I'm not even kidding, I'm just gonna play you a whole level from a cutscene to the next cutscene, and you see for yourself how much gameplay I had there.
My lord, our vanguard forces are through the field.
Hit them hard,
Holy shit, this is gonna be epic.
Yes, lord. All forces, fire at will.
Oh yeah. I got a hard on right now. I swear to God, if like if we cross the hill and it goes into a fucking cutscene again, and this is the whole fucking level, I swear to God, I don't know. Come on, let me fight with them.
Chaos. Train all battle tank guns on that abomination.
Looks awesome though.
Captain, form a defensive line here.
Company.
Oh no.
Defensive line.
I don't like this.
You will have only moments.
There's gonna be a cutscene.
Move quickly.
There's gonna be a cutscene. Oh Jesus fucking Christ! Another fucking cutscene. And no, like this is not even a spoiler. You do not get to fight with all the Ultramarines right next to you. You split off and you just go with your small pack of like two more guys with you, and that's it. And yeah, that was the whole level. I was just holding W for like 30 seconds from a cutscene to a cutscene, and that's it. So yeah. And with all those time sinks and boring gameplay, I finished the whole main campaign in about like 6 hours. But then I thought there's much more to do in the co-op mode and the PvP mode, but I was wrong. The co-op mode is basically the same as the storyline. The only difference is that you can actually choose like different classes and whatnot. And obviously I chose the attack class so I can get the jetpack, but the refueling timer on the jetpack is much slower than in the storyline mode, and you only get a single charge instead of 2, which renders it to be practically fucking useless. But like, why would I replay the same campaign that I played in the story mode? Like, I don't get it. So yeah, it was boring, and it was like basically like the same fucking experience but with like random people or with friends, whatever. And then I thought, well, maybe PvP is gonna be better. So I tried PvP, and it's not. The PvP is, well, unbalanced to say the least. First of all, there is no matchmaking. Secondly, you get the same classes as in the co-op mode, but you can only pick one per match, and I did not find a way to switch my class mid-match. On top of that, if you want to modify your loadout, you'll have to do it in about like 30 seconds while you're queuing for the next game, which typically gives you like 30 seconds to a minute to run to the armory and wait for it to open up for you, and by then you have like 15 to 30 seconds to do what you want to do. So the whole PvP mode feels like it was just an afterthought. Especially considering that there are only 2 viable classes and that the rest of them are severely underpowered. On top of that, there is no replay cam after you get killed, and there are in total 3 maps that are made with PvP in mind. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting Overwatch levels of fun, and I wasn't expecting anything like that innovative. But after a single-player campaign and the co-op mode, I was at least expecting it to be as polished and as fun as Destiny 2's PvP mode is. But it's not, and honestly I was very excited for this game, but it only made me want to play Helldivers 2 and Destiny 2 again, and I really don't want to play them anymore. But let's talk about the graphics. The graphics are mostly really good, the visuals are nice, the effects are great, and there were not that many situations where I felt overwhelmed or underwhelmed by the effects on the screen. And watching the swarm of enemies coming at you while you're fighting in the front lines feels fucking amazing. But there are a couple of serious issues in the graphics department. And look, I really don't want to be so fucking negative, but it's 2024 and the game doesn't have an FOV slider and it doesn't have ultra-wide support. Like, that's a deal breaker for me, honestly. Like, it's fucking 2024, like, come on. And honestly, the game wouldn't even need an FOV slider if your bulky-ass character wasn't that close to the camera and obscuring most of the screen. I get that they wanted the game to look great and for you not to lose any frames when you're getting swarmed, especially on PlayStation 5 or what, like, I don't even know what platforms this game is on, but the levels are so small that I really don't get why they restricted the FOV and why there's no ultra-wide support. I mean, I guess I know because they made it for the fucking consoles and other PC users. But again, it's not 2005, it's 2024. You could have just made ultra-wide support. Like, I have a 4090 and a 7950X. I can run this game, but you're just not letting me. And I'm getting aggravated now, and I don't want to be. But in short, if you wanted me to describe this game in one word, it will be claustrophobic. And I'm not even kidding, like small maps, small areas where you fight at, and like a bunch of, like swarms of enemies, and your bulky fucking character being here, and you can't fucking see the rest of the screen because of him, and like you have a small FOV, and I have a fucking ultra wide, like this is how it looks like on my PC, it's fucking crazy. But yeah, it's just claustrophobic. But let's talk about the sound effects and the music. Now, being a musician, a music producer, and a mix and engineer by trade, I was hoping that the game will have some awesome sound design or a score comparable to Helldivers 2. But that was just wishful thinking. First of all of the characters have those deep and manly and like harsh voices that we love to hear. But the issue is that they literally all sound the same. I finished the whole campaign and I still can't differentiate my character's voice from the voices of my two sidekicks. They literally sound the same. But that's not even the biggest issue. The biggest issue is that the music and the sound effects all live in the same register, so they all are constantly competing with each other, and that's a serious issue. Even on my Audi's LCD-X headphones that, mind you, cost $1,000, or on my main studio speakers that I use for mixing and mastering, it's basically all just rumble that makes the voice acting completely unintelligible. To top that off, most of the time the characters will just start talking over each other, and since all of them have those raspy, hard, over-the-top voices, and all of them speak in the same British accent, and the fact that all the sound effects and the music is also living in the same register, I just kept on losing track of what was said, until I just gave up. And for my old viewers, you probably noticed that I skipped the story, like I did not review the story. It's because of this, because I couldn't keep up with most of the shit that was said, and I just don't care anymore. Honestly, whatever. The only thing that I can say about the story is that it's a bit cringe, and that Helldivers 2 just made everything cringe for me because it is the cringiest game ever, but it's supposed to be, and this game was not supposed to be as cringe as it is. And just like I gave up, I have a feeling that most of the developers around the world have given up on delivering like those special and like great fucking games. It's like, it just seems that it's always just good enough. Yeah, it's good enough, just put it out. But anyway, let me get to the conclusion and let me give you my final thoughts on this game. So the game is not good, but it's not that bad either. It just falls into that category of titles that are just meh, and that's it. It looks like a AAA title, but unfortunately it also plays as one. It's like EA made the graphics and Ubisoft made the gameplay. So overall, I would not recommend this game to anyone unless it gets sold for like $20. And that is if you're really willing to pay to have a boring, claustrophobic experience. But the best that I can do is give this game a score of 5 out of 10 grumplings, and that is being generous because of the graphics, and that's it. Like the rest, and like even the audio, and I know that somebody in the comments will say, well, why didn't you fiddle with the audio? Well, I did, and it's still bad. That's the fucking problem. And of course, there will be a ton of fanboys in the comments defending this game, but I do have a pretty good track record of honest reviews, and I have a great fucking track record of being called a dick in the comments. Unfortunately for you guys, I was never wrong. And when I said that Gray Zone is a bad early access game and that it will have no future, I was attacked, but I was right. When I said that the finals is an unbalanced and unfinished game and that it will have no future, I was bashed on, but I was right. And when I said that the First Descendant is laughable, I was hated, but I was also right. And when I said that Bungie is going to crumble because of the state of Destiny 2, I was being lynched, but I was also fucking right. So yeah, go ahead and bash on me in the comments. I encourage you to do so, but you will see that the hype around this game will die out in like a week or so. And if they don't come up with a fucking amazing DLC soon, the support for this game will probably stop after like a year. And that's it, because nobody's going to be playing that PvP, because we are going to get Marvel Rivals soon, and we have Overwatch and all of that. So like, why would you play this? Like, you just go and play Destiny 2. Or if you want to have a good co-op mode and a good like co-op game, just go and play Helldivers 2, because it's a great game. The developers behind both of those games are shitty, to say the least, because one of them banned 172 countries or whatever, my country included, and the other one, they just want a lot of money and they keep on firing people because the community just doesn't want to fucking do that. Like, they don't want to give them money, and that's it. So, but there are better games than this one, is what I'm saying. But anyway, thank you for watching, and don't forget to bring a towel when you're traveling through space, and yeah, subscribe, peace out, and help a brother out with a couple of bucks. Like, I don't want to do this, like, I don't want to be a fucking beggar, but Jesus Christ, $100 for this shit, I don't know, I must be fucking, I am dumb. Anyway, buy, but don't buy the game.